A geomagnetic surge, predicted then vanished, has now slammed into our planet without warning. Welcome back to Winds of Thought. What you're seeing is not what was forecast. A significant space weather event, anticipated over a day ago and then officially called off, is actively unfolding right now. This stealth solar storm is currently triggering a G2 level geomagnetic disturbance, and the data streaming in from observatories is both compelling and unexpected. We are witnessing a clear case of space weather defying our best predictive models in real time. For those in the right locations, this means the potential for vivid auroral displays tonight across high latitudes, and possibly much further south than a typical quiet night would allow. We're talking serious visibility chances for parts of northern Europe across the vast expanse of Canada, throughout Alaska, and even reaching down into the northernmost states of the continental US. If you're in any of those broad regions, I'll give you specific actionable viewing tips shortly. But first, we absolutely need to understand the fascinating reason why this event was initially missed and what's truly happening within our planet's protective magnetic field at this very moment. The official forecasts, relying on the most advanced models, had this particular storm arriving roughly 36 hours ago. When it failed to materialize on that strict schedule, the official watches were canceled. Now, in a striking twist, it has finally arrived with surprising density and magnetic strength. So what exactly went wrong with the calculations? Often, the propagation speed of these coronal mass ejections through the solar wind can vary significantly, altering their travel time and, critically, their density upon arrival. A slower transit through interplanetary space can allow the ejection to sweep up and compress more ambient solar material, leading to a denser and more potent impact when it finally reaches us. That precise mechanism appears to be what we're witnessing unfold now. And as if to emphasize the sun's inherent volatility, a notable strong M-class solar flare erupted from an active region just hours ago. This flare, a significant burst of radiation, released an intense pulse of extreme ultraviolet and X-ray light that reached Earth in a mere 8 minutes, rapidly and further energizing our ionosphere. This is a separate but compounding event, adding extra layers of ionization to the dynamic space weather environment we're already experiencing. It's a 1-2 punch from our star. Let's look directly at the live solar wind parameters to read the story. Here's what the numbers tell us: a sharp rise in solar wind speed, a concurrent jump in particle density. Observe these values hitting the high teens, and that all-important key shift in the orientation of the interplanetary magnetic field. The crucial component, known as BZ, the southward magnetic field, has turned strongly and persistently negative. This specific orientation acts like a key, allowing solar energy to couple efficiently with Earth's own magnetic shield, funneling charged particles violently toward the poles and supercharging our entire geomagnetic response. It's the perfect recipe for intense auroral activity. The initial impact has already pushed us firmly into G1 minor storm conditions. The critical question now is all about duration. Will these strong solar wind parameters persist for an extended period? If they hold steady for several more hours, the accumulating energy in our magnetosphere could very likely escalate this entire event to a G3 strong geomagnetic storm. The standardized scale runs from G1 at the minor end up to G5 for extreme events. At that G3 level, the auroral oval expands dramatically southward, and secondary technological impacts like irregular satellite operations, minor power grid fluctuations, or increased atmospheric drag on spacecraft become possible, though still statistically uncommon for an event of this predicted magnitude. So, what does this all mean for you, the viewer, hoping to catch a glimpse of the legendary lights? The observational window is opening right now. For viewers across Europe and North America, local night has already fallen. Your first step is to look toward the northern horizon. Remember, the sky tonight holds a hidden, dancing light. You need to find the darkest spot possible, far away from the blinding glare of city lights. Use your smartphone camera on a manual long exposure setting, often between 3 to 10 seconds, to capture faint colors and structures your dark-adapted eyes might not initially perceive. Look for shimmering greens, deep reds, and maybe even hints of purple. Current official forecasts are scrambling to update with this new live data, but a sustained G2, G3 scenario strongly suggests the aurora could be visibly spotted from latitudes as low as, say, the northern tier states like Washington, the Dakotas, or New York. This represents a genuine and somewhat unexpected opportunity. Now, let's examine the hard evidence from the global magnetometer network. These ground-based sensors measure minute ground-level magnetic fluctuations caused by currents flowing high in the ionosphere. Watch this data refresh, and there, see those intense red and orange regions blooming across the polar maps. That's the direct real-time signature of this storm's energy interacting globally with our planet. These are not minor disturbances. They are substantial magnetic perturbations, offering direct, undeniable evidence of the powerful energy transfer happening in the sky overhead right now. This entire situation is the perfect illustration of the complex reality of space weather forecasting. It is a living, dynamic system. A so-called phantom storm can reappear, defying our best schedules and predictions. It humbly reminds us of the dynamic and profoundly powerful electromagnetic connection we constantly share with our life-giving star. Our silent magnetic shield is now vividly singing with torrents of solar energy. As we continue to monitor the situation, if you have any pressing questions, please drop them in the comments section below. I'll be there to answer several of the most insightful ones later. Before we wrap up, if this detailed breakdown of unfolding cosmic events resonates with you, please support the channel by hitting the like button. It truly makes a difference and helps Winds of Thought grow. And consider subscribing for more thoughtful explorations into the fundamental forces that shape our world, our solar system, and the universe beyond. One final, forward-looking note: the active sunspot region responsible for today's significant flare is now rotating toward the sun's western limb. Its future activity, if it remains potent, could influence your Earth's solar radiation levels and the solar particle environment in the coming days. We'll be watching its progress closely. Thank you for thinking with us today. Right now, Earth is being bathed in a torrent of energy from a solar event many thought had passed us by. The so-called phantom storm has arrived, and its magnetic grip is tightening by the minute. We observe the sun's violent activity. A substantial solar flare, an M-class event of notable strength, has just erupted. We witnessed the consequent coronal mass ejection, a colossal bubble of magnetized plasma being hurled into space. Our scientific understanding of its propagation is generally sound, and forecasts for its arrival time are typically accurate. That reliability faltered this time. The predicted timing was off by nearly 48 hours. An alert was issued, then it was rescinded. The message was clear: nothing to see here. Interestingly, mainstream media outlets picked up the initial story, publishing pieces promising vivid auroras for last evening, which then failed to materialize. Further, at the very moment the flare occurred, several prominent online figures with large followings prematurely announced the aurora's imminent arrival within hours. It underscores a vital point: grasp the subject matter thoroughly before broadcasting predictions. The event, however, is undeniably occurring now. This is the precise reason for this live broadcast. When a delayed impact finally manifests, standard news cycles are too slow. Subscribing ensures you're informed as events happen in real time. That's the essential service here. A missed forecast can be redeemed by being on the ground, or in this case, on the air, when it actually unfolds. We have access to several public weather cameras, though primarily focused on North American skies. Skeptical will visually confirm auroral activity here. Darkness is now enveloping these latitudes, but ideal coverage would include European feeds. I could hunt for those streams, but I don't want to dedicate this entire live session to that search. One feed already shows falling snow, eliminating that view. Your local weather is paramount. Overcast skies will entirely obscure the phenomenon. I've noted some promising camera links from extreme northern locations like Finland and Canada's remote territories. Perhaps we'll get lucky. These cameras often capture a still frame every minute, and their exposure settings are unknown. Detecting the aurora usually requires a longer exposure. I'm not overly optimistic, but let's check. Concurrently, let's perform a swift online search for live aurora webcams in Europe. The results show a potential feed from Svalbard and another video source from Norway. That one appears solid. Let's activate it. And we have confirmation. Auroras are currently active over Europe. The northern lights are visible on this stream. The timestamp confirms it is happening now on December 10th. So the reality is settled, folks. The geomagnetic storm has begun. It often takes time for the initial solar wind impact to translate into full geomagnetic instability. That explains the earlier confusion from some quarters asking, where is it? The evidence is now right before us, and we're delivering this update swiftly following its commencement. This solar storm impact is layering onto a planet already supercharged by persistent solar flare activity. We now have pronounced magnetic volatility added to that energetic base. In a separate but significant development, we've just witnessed that powerful 7.6 magnitude tremor off Japan's coast. A massive release of seismic energy, followed by a strong 6.6 aftershock, and many others. Japanese authorities have subsequently elevated their official risk forecast, stating the probability of a magnitude 8 or greater earthquake has increased due to that 7.6 event. This aligns with discussions we had about mounting megaquake risks in that region roughly a month ago, based on precursor seismic activity. It appears official channels are now acknowledging that heightened risk profile, which is a positive step for public awareness. Broadly speaking, planetary energy levels are markedly high. We've observed a historic first in 10,000 years volcanic eruption at Haile Gubi in Ethiopia. Therefore, a series of notable energetic events are concurrently taking place. The ongoing geomagnetic storm is not classified as severe or extreme. It is not an existential threat to infrastructure. That would require a solar event of a magnitude not seen in the modern era. Should such an event ever occur, you will receive that analysis here promptly. My role isn't to sensationalize every space weather incident. However, this storm is injecting additional volatility into a global system already exhibiting elevated activity from solar flares and other factors. This interconnection is crucial. When you iteratively add these energetic inputs to the system, it can catalyze events in seemingly unrelated areas. We are witnessing a cascade of energy across interconnected systems. It would not be surprising to see further significant earthquakes or volcanic eruptions before the year concludes. Moreover, we are approaching an exceptionally rare planetary alignment in early January. Let's briefly review it as it is truly remarkable. Such configurations are not commonplace. Advancing to early January, we see an alignment involving Earth, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Mercury's orbit keeps it nearby. Notably, Jupiter also enters this alignment. Earth reaches its perihelion, the closest solar approach, on January 3rd. This precise alignment is most potent between January 6th and 9th. Jupiter's opposition, its closest approach to Earth, follows on January 10th. This constitutes a uniquely powerful celestial arrangement. Adding to this, a Saturn-Neptune-Sun conjunction perfects on December 13th, merely days away. Examine this: Neptune, Saturn, and the Sun in a direct line, with Mercury also involved. This too is a rare alignment. Research by scientists like Frank Huggerbeets indicates this specific geometric pattern resonates on an approximate 6000-year cycle. It is unusual to have this particular alignment, which includes the Neptune-Saturn Great Conjunction recurring every 36 years, with Mercury positioned in this manner. Consequently, profoundly powerful cosmic forces are currently in play. In many respects, we are building toward that January 9th pinnacle. However, triggering events can occur on either side of that date. Let's look back at last summer. You'll find another extraordinary planetary geometry throughout July and August. Around mid-August, Mars, Earth, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and even distant Pluto were arranged in harmonic 60-degree aspects relative to this alignment. This setup is exceedingly rare. It was temporally coincident with the major 8.8 magnitude megaquake on July 29th, and likely energetically linked to its occurrence. Such alignments can have profound geophysical implications. The intense seismic clustering near Japan's coast is, in many interpretations, a potential indicator of larger events to come. Remain cognizant of that. But our present focus is the live geomagnetic storm. We are at G1 levels, but I anticipate an escalation shortly. Let's examine our HP30 and HP60 indices as they have been climbing rapidly. This displays the last 24 hours. We observe a minor rise, a return to active conditions, and now a sharp upward trend, nearing G2 level thresholds on the 30-minute index. The G1 threshold begins at a value of 5. We touched 5 and are now advancing towards 6. The current reading is 5.667. Inspecting the real-time solar wind data once more, we see sustained parameters with no sign of abatement. The values remain elevated. Only a few more hours of this sustained pressure are needed for the storm to significantly intensify. The process is already underway, as evidenced by the European Aurora livestream, but it will amplify as this solar storm structure continues to buffet our planet's magnetic field. Our atmosphere is currently a canvas for solar particles. Simultaneously, we have this new solar flare that just erupted. Here is the data. It's a notable M-class event in terms of emitted energy. Let's retrieve the latest satellite imagery to assess its development. Intriguingly, it erupted from a sunspot region that became active precisely as it aligned with Zone 3I Atlas. There is the flare. That concludes the immediate update portion. Let's proceed to address viewer questions. Please submit your questions in the chat. I will endeavor to answer them. Kindly keep queries relevant to today's topics. Any questions accompanied by a super thanks will receive priority response. Let's begin the Q&A. A viewer named Bobby Jones asks, what is the travel time for a solar flare to reach Earth? This requires clarifying two different phenomena. The solar flare itself is intense electromagnetic radiation. That light reaches Earth in approximately 8.3 minutes, affecting the sunlit side almost instantly. When our satellites detect it, it is effectively happening in real time. However, if the flare triggers a coronal mass ejection, the massive cloud of solar plasma that causes geomagnetic storms, that cloud travels much slower. It typically takes between 2 to 4 days to traverse the distance. Exceptionally fast CMEs, akin to the historic Carrington event, can arrive in under a day, but that is extraordinarily rare. A truly rapid storm would make the journey in less than 24 hours. And if this live analysis is providing you with valuable, timely insight, please support the channel's work. Clicking the like button directly helps Winds of Thought grow and informs the platform's algorithm that this content matters. Thank you for joining this live session. We're receiving urgent questions about the solar storm's hidden effects on human health, Earth's atmosphere, and even comet interactions. Answers that mainstream channels aren't providing. Typically, a coronal mass ejection takes 2 to 4 days to traverse the void between Sun and Earth. This particular event required approximately 4 days, maybe slightly more. The journey isn't instantaneous, but the impact, when it arrives, is undeniable. A viewer named Stacy asks, for people who feel physically sensitive to geomagnetic shifts, experiencing headaches or fatigue, is it still safe to go outside and view the aurora? Absolutely. Some individuals possess a high degree of biometeorological sensitivity. It's wise to focus on holistic wellness practices that might reduce such reactivity, like lowering systemic inflammation. There's a psychological component as well. Remember, the aurora itself is a luminous phenomenon occurring high in the upper atmosphere. You needn't fear direct physical contact with solar particles. However, these lights represent immense, pulsating electrical currents flowing through the sky. Viewing them presents a perfect opportunity for grounding. Place your bare feet on the earth. This connection can help discharge excess energy and bring your system back into equilibrium, which is profoundly beneficial. Many of the planet's longest living creatures remain in constant contact with the ground. Use this as a chance to practice earthing. Furthermore, witnessing the aurora's grandeur is awe-inspiring, which can itself elevate your mood and well-being. If you have the chance, I encourage you to experience it. Laura inquires, has there been a full halo coronal mass ejection recently? The storm impacting us now originated from a full halo CME. Its delayed arrival is why initial watches were canceled. In the past few days, we haven't had another clearly directed Earth-facing eruption. However, given the high number of active sunspots, it's very probable we'll see more in the coming weeks and months. Stay updated by subscribing as I publish new content almost daily. Next, from a viewer, why does the interstellar object 3I Atlas seem to affect solar activity? Is it reflecting energy back? An excellent query without a definitive answer. We can consider a comparative model, the plasma environment surrounding a comet. A comet generates a vast cloud of gas and dust around its tiny nucleus through sublimation. Despite the object's small size and weak gravity, this cloud can be enormous. Observations of 3I Atlas showed a CO2 cloud comparable to the Earth-Moon distance. This cloud becomes ionized in space, forming a charged structure with its own weak magnetic field, called an ionopause. The Sun, meanwhile, is not magnetically self-contained. Its dynamic fields extend far out into the heliosphere. While planets create localized nodes in the solar circuit, most of space is an empty low-energy gap. Introduce a highly charged object like 3I Atlas into that gap, and you potentially increase the energy flow through that part of the circuit. Sunspots are magnetic vortices with extending fields. When these fields align with the plasma bubble of an object like 3I Atlas, it's plausible that the sunspot region could become destabilized or more volatile. We must follow the observational evidence first. A current issue in some scientific circles is prioritizing existing models over new observations, dismissing anomalies that don't fit. True science works in reverse. Observe first, then build models to explain what we see. So, what do we observe? For the past 2 months, we've consistently noted increased solar flare activity when specific sunspots align with 3I Atlas. The correlation is striking and cannot be ignored. The community clinging rigidly to old paradigms must acknowledge these observations. That is the foundational principle of the scientific method. Genius begins with observation, not assumption. Historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci reached profound understanding by being master observers, studying water flow, anatomy, and nature firsthand. We'll now address some questions from supporters. First, a confirmation. Yes, we are concurrently tracking a new M-class solar flare alongside the ongoing storm impact. It's a compelling combination. Kind question about my approach. Everyone shines when they pursue their innate passions and creative gifts. Thank you. Regarding Earth's ozone layer, solar plasma storms generally have a transient, degrading effect, but it's minor compared to long-term catalytic destruction. Man-made compounds like chlorofluorocarbons historically acted as persistent catalysts, breaking down ozone molecules. Recently, the ozone layer had begun recovering following global bans on these substances. However, a new concern has emerged: increased rocket launches. Particles like aluminum from rocket exhaust in the stratosphere can also catalytically destroy ozone. This renewed degradation is a significant, unintended consequence of the modern space industry. Now, a loaded question. What is your view on chemtrails and their effect on space weather or auroras? Weather modification programs undeniably exist. Certain companies conduct cloud seeding operations, often using silver iodide with government permits. You can find these projects listed on official portals. However, the idea of a massive ubiquitous chemtrail conspiracy is less convincing. Many people misidentify ordinary contrails. Contrails form when aircraft exhaust condenses in cold, humid air. Common in some regions, but rare in others, like my location. The difference is atmospheric conditions, not a global spraying campaign. While I believe deliberate weather modification is unwise, the evidence for a vast secret program doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Take that as one perspective in your own research. A supporter asks, beyond Japan, could this solar storm trigger major quakes elsewhere? Geomagnetic storms do sometimes temporally correlate with seismic events. The mechanism might involve adding the final stress increment to a critically loaded fault. However, it's not a guaranteed one-to-one relationship. A stronger and more consistent correlation exists with high-speed solar wind streams from coronal holes. When these fast streams hit, causing a sharp drop in solar wind density, we frequently observe powerful earthquakes shortly after. That connection is remarkably clear and warrants closer study. We are in a period of exceptional celestial dynamics. The sun is active, the planets are aligning in rare configurations, and Earth's systems are responding. To stay current with this unfolding story as I analyze it, make sure you're subscribed to Winds of Thought. If this deep dive Q&A provided value, please hit the like button. It directly supports the channel and helps this independent research reach more eyes. Thank you for your thoughtful questions and for being part of this exploration. We are now crossing a critical threshold as the solar storm escalates to a powerful G2 level, and the data points toward an even more intense peak in the coming hours. Continuing our discussion on seismic triggers, the interaction between Earth's tectonic systems and electromagnetic forces is a complex puzzle. While geomagnetic storms and direct solar impacts can sometimes align with quakes, the correlation is inconsistent. You can't reliably base a forecast on it. However, the high-speed solar wind streams from coronal holes present a different story. This connection is clear and stable enough to form the basis of the predictive work I do, which has proven accurate over the past year. So, could this current solar storm trigger a megaquake? Major seismic events are always a possibility, but I wouldn't specifically forecast one from this. For Japan, I believe the megaquake risk will become significantly elevated later, when the next coronal hole high-speed stream is predicted to impact Earth around the end of December. This timing intriguingly coincides with that rare planetary geometry I outlined earlier, the alignment of Mars, Venus, the Sun, Mercury, Earth, and Jupiter, coupled with the Saturn-Neptune-Sun conjunction. It's the convergence of these celestial factors with the anticipated solar wind stream in late December and early January that creates a high probability window. Combined with the already intense seismic activity speaking from Japan itself, the risk for a major event, potentially magnitude 8.5 or greater, rises substantially. My forecast for a heightened alert period would be from late December, just after Christmas, through approximately January 15th. A viewer named Ellie asks about experiencing sleeplessness for 24 hours prior to the storm. The reason is highly individual. It could be dietary, like caffeine, or simply your unique physiological response. My advice is to prioritize rest. Avoid overstimulation. Supplements like melatonin can be helpful, or practices like yoga nidra are excellent for deep relaxation. For viewers within the United States, I've formulated herbal blends designed to support tranquility, available through my online store. Ultimately, listen to your body's guidance to find your balance. Regarding the solar cycle, when does solar maximum end? We can examine this right now, as we are effectively at its concluding phase. Notice our indices have now confirmed a G2 level storm, and it's intensifying rapidly. Switching to the solar cycle progression chart, which I detailed in a previous video, we see solar cycle 25 here. You can identify the maximum phase, not as a single point, but as a broad plateau of high activity. We are currently at the boundary where this plateau ends and the descending phase begins. This means the peak of sunspot production is behind us. While a secondary, higher peak is extremely unlikely, the descending phase itself lasts several years and is historically active. The sun's quieting is a process, not an event. Prepare for sustained activity, so buckle up. Significant solar storms and flares will continue for some time. A generous supporter asks about the potential implications of the Great Alignment on January 9th. My honest assessment? I don't know precisely, but significant geophysical events are a strong possibility. If I had to speculate, a major seismic event around that time seems likely. Furthermore, the large active sunspot region that just produced the M-class flare will rotate back to face Earth in about 2 weeks. Having been primed, I expect it to be even more active upon its return, contributing to significant solar activity in late December and early January. This aligns with the planetary geometry and the expected coronal hole stream. I would not be surprised to see earthquakes of magnitude 7.5 or greater, possibly even exceeding 8.5 in that time frame. The confluence of evidence supports a much higher probability than normal. Another viewer inquires if the intense Pacific Northwest atmospheric river weather is related to solar activity. This is a climate phenomenon, but a connection exists. A consistent observation during these geomagnetic disturbances is an amplification of existing weather systems. The global electric circuit becomes supercharged, and it's as if the storm turns up the volume on terrestrial weather. Calm conditions become windy. Rainy systems intensify into storms, and already powerful atmospheric river could be driven to greater extremes. It's an enhancement of volatility, not necessarily the sole cause. To the question, when is the apocalypse? I have no date. I don't foresee or desire such an event, and neither should you. Let's focus on understanding the dynamic present. Before we conclude, let's check back on our live Aurora feed from Norway. A direct result of this ongoing G2 storm, which may yet strengthen to G3 levels if solar wind conditions persist. For viewers in Europe, Canada, Alaska, or the northern United States with clear skies, this is your chance. Those in the southern hemisphere, near the Antarctic Circle, also have a viewing opportunity, though summer days limit darkness. As we wrap up, I'll mention that for those seeking to cultivate personal calm amidst this cosmic activity, my website offers resources focused on holistic wellness. Wishing you all well. Please take good care of yourselves. I've been your host. If this analysis has been valuable, please support Winds of Thought by smashing the like button. It truly helps the channel reach others. Subscribe to stay updated on Earth's energetic shifts every single day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you